For the first and only time this year, the Otters are going to play a game just for the love of baseball. Game 2 of our doubleheader is just around the corner, and we've got a different looking lineup from a lot of the season. Walk you through it now. The Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game will be the left fielder Brian Rosario. Then it's Elijah McNamee, who will play center field in Game 2. Batting third will be the first baseman Zach Bierman, before the four-hole hitter, designated hitter Jeffrey Baez bats. Batting fifth will be the catcher Justin Felix. Batting sixth will be the right fielder Brody Tanksley. Batting seventh, the second baseman Andy Armstrong. Batting eighth, the third baseman Tanner Craig. And batting ninth is the shortstop George Khalil. On the mound for the Otters here in Game 2 of our doubleheader is going to be Tyler Spring, making his first start of the year. As for the Alts, they will lead off with their catcher Luke Harper before the shortstop Alberti Chavez bats second. Batting third will be the designated hitter Brennan Price. Batting fourth, the left fielder Ray Zuber. Batting fifth is the second baseman Ethan Stern. Batting sixth, the third baseman Bryant Flete. Batting seventh, the first baseman Axel Johnson. Batting eighth is the center fielder Wadi Almonte. Batting ninth is the right fielder Rodney Tinney. Griffin Baker starts for the Yalls today. Griffin Baker getting the start on the mound. He was one of the draft picks in the Frontier League draft by this Florence team. So the year unofficially started with Baker, and now it's going to end with Griffin Baker for the Yalls. Temperatures dropped a couple more degrees, and it seems like it should be a really nice afternoon for a second game of baseball. Like I mentioned, this one doesn't mean much. It's because the Otters lost their first one. They're no longer in contention to host Tuesday night. This one's just for the love of baseball. We'll play 7 innings here from Thomas More Stadium in Florence, Kentucky. You can catch every bit of it right here on the Otters Digital Network. Do want to give you an update of what's going on in the league today and where they matter. New York is up 7-4 at Trois-Rivières. The Boulders are trying to clinch their spot of hosting Tuesday night's game. Of course, our game already over, 7-1 in favor of Florence in Game 1. We have a canceled game, New Jersey at Sussex, due to rain because it didn't have any implications. They went ahead and just outright canceled it. Then starting after our games later today, about an hour from now, Empire State at Tri-City in a game that has no implications on postseason. Ottawa at Quebec starts in about an hour. If Ottawa can win that game, then they're in contention still to host Tuesday night. Big game for them. Also, Quebec trying to win the regular season crown. Windy City's at Washington. Washington also trying to clinch the regular season crown today. Lake Erie's playing at Gateway tonight about 6 o'clock Central, and then the day finishes up just after the 6 o'clock hour Central Time. Schaumburg at Joliet, rounding out the 2022 regular season here in the Frontier League. Griffin Baker just getting his last couple of warm-up tosses in so that we can kick off baseball here on what is trying its hardest to be a nice afternoon for baseball here in Florence, Kentucky. A lot of rain chances today. We've avoided them so far, and it looks like we are going to continue to avoid them. Baker fires home his last warm-up pitch. The throw-out's completed, and we're ready to kick off this first inning. Brian Rosario, Elijah McNamee, and Zach Bierman set to kick off this first inning for Evansville. Just like usual, Billy Easley manning the first base coaching box. The field manager, Andy McCauley, manning the third base coaching box. Brian Rosario strides in. He'll bat as a righty due to the fact that Baker is a left-handed pitcher. If we see a pitching change and a righty come in, of course, Rosario will swap over to the other side of the plate. But it looks we're going to be like right at 3 hours after the first pitch earlier this afternoon. 4:07, first pitch home for a called strike one here from Florence, Kentucky, and Game 2 is underway. In our last game, Rosario was the 9-hole hitter, went 1 for 2 with a single. Puts the ball high and foul to the right side. It's going to work itself out of play. And the count's quickly 0-2 for Rosario. Rosario, the left fielder in this game. He was the right fielder in our first game. 0-2 for Rosario. It's sent out towards left. It's down for extra bases. Rosario plugging his way around first. There will not be a play at second. It's a stand-up double to kick off the game for Brian Rosario. That will bring up Elijah McNamee, who is playing center field in this game. It's his second time this year that he has been the center fielder for Evansville. Most of the time, of course, manning right field. McNamee in our prior game was the only Otter with an extra base hit. It was an RBI double in the first inning, and it looked like the Otters were going to set the pace in that game. Of course, then a couple of home runs in the bottom of the first for Florence crushed those hopes for Evansville. First offering for McNamee. High outside, ball one. Zach Bierman stands on deck, ready for the next opportunity. He's the first baseman in this game. Ball is sitting very high to left. Dropping back is Zuber, and he brings it in for the first out. That ball was hit a mile into the air, but it did not get enough distance out of this place. McNamee gets the flyouts. So that'll bring up Zach Bierman. First lefty in the order for Evansville. In Bierman's first at-bat of our first game today, he really cranked a ball to right, but for the, I don't know how many times in the last couple of weeks, got it to about the warning track, and that was it. First pitch here, he skies it into the infield. Stepping forward a couple steps is Harper, and the catcher will bring it in for a pop out number two. And the Otters now in risk of stranding a leadoff double out there at second. So it'll be the cleanup man, Jeffrey Baez, who will be brought on to help out. He started the game on Friday, but then had a weird slide into second, completed that base running opportunity, and was pulled from the game from there on out. Did not appear in our game earlier. First pitch here, taken for a called strike one. He was taken all the way. 0-1 count for Jeffrey Baez. Pitch on the way. Finds the zone again for a called strike two now. Roberto Pattison mans things behind the plate for our umpiring crew as assigned by the Frontier League. Kerry Lyle mans the right side of the infield. Tyler Thurman mans the left side. 0-2 home for Jeffrey Baez. He puts one out towards center. Charging in is Almonte, and he brings it in for out number three. We're on our way to the home half of the first. Otters strand a leadoff double. Bottom half of the first inning, and for the first time this year, Tyler Spring heads to the mound as the starting pitcher for the Evansville Otters. He'll have Justin Felix as his battery mate. That battery presented by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. First option home. Stays low and inside for ball one on Luke Harper, the catcher. A lot of lefties going through the starting nine for the Alls in this game. Just two righties, Chavez and Stern, batting in the 2 and 5 holes. Inside ball for ball two. Takes our count to 2 balls, no strikes. Waiting on the 2-0. Pitch comes home. Down and in for ball 3. All of them low and inside. Three balls, no strikes for Luke Harper. Ball is almost right down the middle for a called strike one. Crazy to think that after today's game and after 95 games this summer, the Otters' fate will be decided in a one-game playoff at Schaumburg on Tuesday night. 3-1 home to Harper. This one sent foul to the left side into the netting. And Spring works himself into a full count. To find the last pitching opportunity for Tyler Spring, you got to go back to that final game at Washington just a few nights ago. He pitched 2 full innings, gave up no runs on no hits, struck out 4. 3-2 home, right back up the middle, and it's going to get through for a single. Went off the glove of Spring. And Harper's got himself a leadoff single because of it. So that will bring up Alberti Chavez. Alberti Chavez, in our prior game, 4 for 4 with 4 singles. He was exceptional in that one. First offering to him, fouled right back into the netting, and the count drops to 0-1. As expected in a game that, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't mean much. The Otters opting with a different look around the defensive alignment. Oh, 1 for Chavez. There goes the man towards second. This ball is driven out towards left. Rosario working back to it, brings it in for out number 1. Want to walk you through the Otters defensively in this game too. Brian Rosario in left, Elijah McNamee in center, Brody Tanksley out in right field. Across the infield, it's Tanner Craig at third, George Khalil at short, Andy Armstrong at second, Zach Bierman man's first. And behind the plate is Justin Felix. Otters threw out to second and tagged the base just to make sure that had Harper rounded second and then went back to first, that he actually touched back up, but everything is all right out there. First pitch home to Brendan Price, stays high, ball 1. One ball, no strikes for Price. The pitch comes home. Catches the zone for a called strike 1. Otters at 51-43 coming into this final game. Cannot hit the 54-win plateau, but they did finish over 500. It's the 17th time they've done that as a franchise. 12th time with over 48 wins. And regardless of today's result, they have improved their all-time record to over 500. They finished the season 7 games under 500 in the overall record, and with a loss today, they'd finish 7 games over 500, so they would at least be even at 500 all-time. 2-1 to the plate. Price lets it go by for ball 3. Spring stands 6-6 up on the mound. You can put a lot of zoom into that ball as well. 2-1 to the plate. Catches the outside edge for a called strike. Two-two for Brennan Price with a man on first and 1 out. Spring fires home, and it stays too far inside. It was actually a full count. So there's men at first and second now with 1 out. That will bring up the left fielder, Ray Zuber. Zuber from a few miles down the road from Evansville, down in Owensboro. I guess a few miles down the road from here as well, maybe halfway, I guess. Otters are in their double play positioning once again. As Spring gets set to fire home the first pitch to Ray Zuber. It's well inside, gets away from Felix, and both men will advance out on the base paths. So with men at second and third now and just 1 out, Ray Zuber's opportunity has gotten a little bit more intriguing for him, a little more on the line. 1-0 home from Spring. Swinging strike 1. He just zoomed that one by Zuber. Otters playing much deeper now, knowing that they just got to get their out rather than in that double play positioning as they were a few seconds ago. Runners at second and third with 1 out. Pitch comes home, and it's sent out towards center. McNamee gets underneath it, brings it in for out number 2. His throw is going to go towards third instead of towards home, so the run will score on a sacrifice fly. And with it, the Alls have themselves a lead. McNamee had a nice throw there from center field, put it right on top of third base. So it's now 1-0 Y'alls in this game, too, as they've taken their second first inning lead of the day. First pitch to Ethan Stern on the way. High inside, ball 1. Certainly nothing to worry about, as none seem like injuries of any kind. No Dakota Phillips in either one of the doubleheader games today. Sure, he will be ready to go on Tuesday night, though. Hit his grand slam on Friday night. 1-0 home. Stays inside and low for ball 2. J.R. Davis getting this game off, as well as Miles Gordon. Jeffrey Baez back into the lineup as a DH. 2-0 the count for Stern. Spring fires it that way, and it's high and in for ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Spring fires home. It's in there for a called strike. This is certainly a tune-up game, if you will, for Evansville. Just worried about what they can do to improve for Tuesday night. 3-1 comes home. This one is since very high, shallow to the right side. And in shallow right field, Armstrong brings it in for out number 3, but not before the Alls score a game-opening run with a sacrifice fly from Ray Zuber. We are on to the second inning. Evansville trails by 1. After 1 inning, it's Y'all's 1, Otters 0 here on your home for Evansville baseball all season long. The Otters Digital Network. Justin Felix, Brody Tanksley, and Andy Armstrong, the 3 due up for the Otters here in the half inning. Justin Felix, our catcher for game 2 of this doubleheader. Otters will head home after this one, get a good night's rest, and head off to Schaumburg tomorrow in preparation for Tuesday night's wild card game. Ball zoomed out towards left on the first pitch from Felix towards the wall, and it bounces into the wall. Felix rounding first. He's going to have a stand-up double, and for the second straight inning, the Otters lead off with a stand-up double. But in the last inning, it was 3 straight outs afterwards, and it pretty much ruled the double ineffective. Tell you what, 6, 7 more reps in the weight room, and Felix might get that one over the wall. Instead, he stands at second base and is going to ask Brody Tanksley, Andy Armstrong, maybe Tanner Craig to help bring him home. First pitch for Brody Tanksley. Bounces in. Felix is going to try to gamble for third, and he's going to have it as Harper was not able to grab that ball. Felix gambled there. He's got a big smile while fist bumping with Andy McCauley down there at the third base area. So the Tank has an opportunity to bring in a run here and even this game at 1 run apiece. The 1-0 home. Tanksley down the third base line, but foul. One ball, 1 strike for the right fielder, Brody Tanksley. Grounds another one to the left side. Rolled over with the hands, and it goes into the wall over there. McCauley will surprise a fan up there in the third base seating area. 1-2 the count for Tanksley. He'll try again to bring the runner home. Down the third base line again. Just about got his manager, Andy McCauley, down there. You know, it is upsetting the Otters aren't able to be competing for home field advantage in that Tuesday night game, but it also takes the stress away from the second game, can play a little bit lighter, enjoy themselves, get themselves game ready for Tuesday night now. 1-2 misses high and away for ball 2. I'll put it this way, the bus ride home will not be awful for these guys. They'll still have their heads high, know that there's still unfinished business. They missed the playoffs last year by a half game to this very Florence team. Best believe they have fire under their bellies going into the postseason. If they can get past Schaumburg in the one-game playoff, then you're guaranteed a best 2 out of 3 series against Washington, a team that you've been able to beat on the road a couple times this year. You snag a win at home, you might have a shot there on the road. 3-2 home to Tanksley, bounces in, and there will be runners at first and third. And that will bring Andy Armstrong to the plates, and it'll be his chance to try to bring a couple of runs in potentially. Don't forget that on Tuesday night, you'll be able to catch that game right here on the Otters Digital Network. Runners on the corners, nobody out. First pitch to Andy Armstrong. Misses low and in. Ball 1. A lot of games getting started here within the next 30 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes. As the East Division still has a couple of things to figure out over there, as they're not sure who's hosting their wild card series. New York is up at Trois-Rivières right now, trying to be the team that puts the pressure on Ottawa, who is about to kick off their game in Quebec. 1-0 to the second baseman Armstrong's outside for ball 2, and that's going to cause a meeting at the mound. And now the entire infield will come in and have a talk as well with Griffin Baker. Evansville trying to finish this regular season with a win in a game that, you know, you hate to say it this way because it sounds so negative, but it's a game that doesn't mean anything right now. The only thing it means is which team's going to finish with the extra win in that column. 2-0 count for Armstrong. He fouls one back into the netting. Runners at the corners, nobody out here in the top of the second. Otters trying to even this game up after giving up the 1 run in the bottom of the first. (2-1). Armstrong caught swinging at a pitch low, was a little bit ahead of it as well. And his count evens. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Tanner Craig stands on deck. (2-2). This one sent out towards center. Chasing in is Almonte. He'll bring it in for out number 1. There'll be a throw towards home, but Felix is going to score pretty easily on the sacrifice fly. So a productive at-bat for Armstrong brings the runner home. And Evansville has evened this game up at 1 run apiece in game 2 of our doubleheader. So Tanner Craig now heads to the plate. A man who has not got a ton of reps here in the late stages of the season. Joined the team at a point where they were still in a playoff chase. So Wasn't seeing as much action as he probably wanted to. But I do hope he gets the opportunity to continue with this squad next year, keep proving what he's made of. He showed it at the University of Evansville. And I just hope that we're going to get to continue to see him play in a blue Evansville Otters jersey. 0-1 home, stays inside, and that'll even the count up at 1 ball, 1 strike. For Andy Armstrong, first time he's had an RBI since the game at Washington on Wednesday. A swinging strike drops Tanner Craig back to 1-2 in the count. One ball, 2 strikes for Tanner Craig. Pitch home to him. Bounces in, gets away, and because of it, Tanksley's going to work towards second, and he gets there safely. So there's now a man in scoring position for Tanner Craig. Two for Tanner Craig. Pitch comes home, and it's foul tipped back towards Harper, but not squeezed. So Craig's going to live to see another pitch. The 2-2. Fouled off to the left side. Two balls, 2 strikes. A long wait. 2-2 now to Craig. This one's screamed towards Chavez at short. He'll walk Tanksley back to second and then send it over to first for out number 2. 6-3 on the fielder's choice. Tanksley remains at second, and that'll bring up George Khalil with 2 outs. George Khalil unable to find the hit column in our first game of the day. Went 0 for 3, but on Friday night he had his first 3-hit game of his career. First pitch home to Khalil. In there for a called strike. Though Khalil has not always had the bat, his defense has made him one of the best shortstops defensively in this entire league. He's been a great addition to this Otters squad. 0-1 off the handle of the bat is fouled off to the right side. So the Australian shortstop steps in, ready for the 0-2. Man at second, 2 outs. Otters trying to take themselves a lead. Pitch comes home and stays low and outside, ball 1. One ball, 2 strikes. It's screamed down the third base line. It's fair. Extra bases for George Khalil. Coming home to score is Tanksley, and it'll be an RBI double for the Australian. And the Otters take themselves a lead. First one they've seen since the first inning of last game. Back to the top of the order we go, to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Brian Rosario. He led off the first with a double, but was stranded there after 3 straight outs by the Otters offense. See if he can swap places with George Khalil, just as he did with Tanksley. First pitch home to Rosario. Hefty swinging strike 1. Long wait prior to the first pitch of this at-bat. Oh, 1. Crank to the left side. Chavez plays into the glove. His long throw across the first is going to be close, but in time for out number 3. Otters grab 2 runs and take a lead. We are on our way to the home half of the second. It's Evansville 2, Florence 1. You're on your home for Evansville Baseball, the Otters Digital Network. Bottom of the second inning here from humid Florence, Kentucky. Otters have gotten themselves a lead as they have scored now 2 runs on 3 hits. All 3 hits are doubles. Bryant Flette will kick off the second inning. Spring fires home. First pitch. High outside, ball 1. Spring ran into a little bit of issues in that first inning. Allowed a single to kick off the first. And then after grabbing it out, allowed Brennan Price to advance on a walk. And then a wild pitch proved costly on a Ray Zuber sac fly RBI. 1-0. Stays in the zone on the high edge. And our count evens up 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 1, the count for Bryant Flette. Swinging strike 2, way ahead of that. Quick pitch home from Spring. Spring ready to go on the pitch home to Flette. Stays outside, and with it our count evens. Two balls, 2 strikes for Bryant Flette. Here kicking off the home half of the second. 2-2 pitch home. Misses high, and we'll have a full count now. Flette did not appear in our first game. The 3-2, swinging strike 3. And Spring's going to kick off this second inning with a German American Bank strikeout. His first of the day, and only the Otters' second of the doubleheader. Smith managed the only strikeout of that entire first game for Evansville, and came in the 6th inning. So Axel Johnson, who's playing first base in our game tonight, heads to the plate. Was the center fielder in game 1. Played right in Friday night's game. First pitch home is high outside, ball 1 for Johnson. Spring, of course, being the bullpen arm he is, pitching exclusively out of the stretch, has a pitch missed low. Take the count to 2 balls, no strikes. Ball is set high and foul to the left side, out of play. Two balls, 1 strike for Johnson. Spring fires home. This one is sent foul yet again. It's going to get out of play and off to the concourse. Two balls, 2 strikes for Axel Johnson. Bases empty, 1 out here in the home half of the second inning. Spring kicks, delivers, and it's fouled off again to the left side. That one might leave the yard in the foul territory, of course. Two balls, 2 strikes for Axel Johnson. Tyler Spring readies himself on the bump. The 2-2 home. Swinging strike 3. Back-to-back German-American Bank strikeouts for Tyler Spring here to kick off the second inning. So with 2 down and nobody on, Matty Almonte heads to the plate. The center fielder for Florence in this game did not play in game 1, but did appear on Friday night. Solid center fielder for the Y'alls, can cover a lot of ground in a little bit of time. First pitch home from Spring is sent foul to the left side off the netting. Quickly back down towards the Florence dugout. Final time the Otters will play here this season. Oh, 1 on its way. High outside, ball 2, and our count evens up. Has been good this weekend to see the Evansville faithful travel well. Been a couple of rows of Evansville fans over there on the right side of the ballpark all 3 games now. One for Almonte. This one is off the handle of the bat, sent out towards left, but Rosario has enough time to chase in, bring it in. For out number 3, we are on our way to the third inning here in Florence. Evansville leads by 1. First pitch here of the third inning. McNamee zooms one out towards left, and it's going to work its way into the Otters bullpen out there. Or maybe it just got hooked into the advertising. It looked like it actually went into the Otters bullpen, and because of it, McNamee has a lead-off stand-up double out there, and it's the third straight inning. Evansville's led off with a double. Solid start to the game for Evansville. So that will now bring Zach Bierman to the plate. First pitch is home. The throw down to third is not going to be in time to grab McNamee. He's got himself a stolen base. Really like where we're seeing some of these Otters going into the playoffs, starting to get a little more aggressive with their base running. And that's been good to see from some of these guys, to know that you can grab a double and potentially get a man on third right away. Ball cranked to the right side, through for a base hit, and Evansville will extend their lead with an RBI single from Zach Bierman. Bierman needed an RBI hit to kind of get himself back on the right side of things. Good way for him to work towards the postseason. And Evansville now leads 3-1. Quick start here to the third, and that'll bring up the cleanup man, designated hitter Jeffrey Baez. Man at first, nobody out. Baez waiting on his first pitch. Lets it stay low for ball one. One out to Baez. Watches that one go by, and that evens his count at 1-1 now. Small lead for Bierman over at first. 1-0 home. Finds the zone yet again, and Baez falls back in the count 1-2. Evansville trying to extend this third inning. They've already scored once. 1-2. Swinging strike three. Baez kind of left one of his feet on the swing there. So that will bring up Justin Felix with a man at first and one out. First pitch home. Felix sends that one foul to the right side. It's going to end up on the upper concourse. Bierman, small lead at first with one out. 0-1 home. Felix lets it stay away and evens the count at 1-1. Swinging strike two. Bierman has the only non-double hit for the Otters so far in this game. Of the 5 hits, 4 of the 5 have been doubles. Felix ready on the 1-2. Baker staring down Bierman at first. Now here comes the 1-2. Felix again fouls the ball off to the right side. Felix 1 for 1 in this game with a double. Came around to score on Armstrong's sac fly RBI. The 1-2 stays high, and our count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Two counts for the catcher, Felix. Stays low and inside for ball 3, and we will have a full count. Good work from Felix to work himself back into this count. Three-two home. This one sent out towards center. Almonte chasing back towards the wall. Gone! 2-run home run for Justin Felix. And Evansville bounces their lead a couple more runs up to the deepest part of this ballpark. Justin Felix 2 for 2 on the day. 2-run home run. So with 1 out, Evansville's grabbed a couple more, and their lead is now 5-1. If only they could have found some of this offense in game 1. Felix becomes the 5th different Otter to hit double-digit home runs this year. He joins Bierman, McNamee, Phillips, and Sinsley. It's the 98th home run for the Otters this year. 1 more would tie the franchise record for home runs in a single season. Tanksley swings and misses to drop down to 0-2 in his count. Looked like for sure the Otters were not going to just beat it, but crush their home run record. Then things slowed down with the long ball there in the early to mid-July area, and they haven't hit him as much. 0-2. Called strike 3 on Brody Tanksley. And that will now bring up Andy Armstrong. Armstrong, in his first at-bat, brought home a run with a sacrifice fly RBI. First pitch home, stays high and outside for ball 1. The 1-0, Armstrong guilty of a swinging strike. Count evens up, 1 ball, 1 strike. New York did get a win at Trois-Rivières, 8-5, by the way. 1-1, catches the zone on the outside edge. And that drops the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes now for Andy Armstrong. Ball sent out towards right center, hooking towards the gap. It's going to fall for extra bases now for Andy Armstrong. He rounds first, and he'll be in with a stand-up double. And the Otters have another double in this game. Not only have the Otters hit 5 doubles, it's been 5 separate individuals. Evansville hit 7 doubles against the Lake Erie Crushers back on June the 19th. They certainly have a chance to beat that in this game. And we will keep playing here in the top of the 3rd. 3 runs have scored. Now Tanner Craig to the plate. First option for Craig. Lightly sends one right back up the middle, picked up by Baker. The throw to first is in time for out number 3. But the Otters add a couple of runs, first on an RBI single from Bierman, and then Justin Felix takes one to dead center for a 2-run home run. We've played through 2.5. Evansville leads 5-1. Bottom of the third, first pitch for Rodney Tenney is fouled off to the left side, trying to bunt for a base hit. Otters added to their lead there in that last half inning. They've got 7 hits in this ballgame. 5 of the 7 are doubles. Tenney, Harper, and Chavez, the 3-2 up. Tyler Spring gets himself ready for the 0-1. Now fires home. This stays high for ball 1, and our count evens up 1 ball, 1 strike. By the way, with the Boulders 8-5 win at Trois Rivières, the Boulders have locked up the second position in the East. They will host Tuesday night against Ottawa. 1-1 swung on and missed. 4 strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Tenney pushes it out towards left. Long run for Rosario, and he'll make the catch back there in the corner for out number 1. So back to the top of the order we go. Luke Harper walking in. We have a lot of games just about to kick off. Empire State at Tri-City, Ottawa at Quebec, and Windy City at Washington. First pitch home. Finds the zone for a called strike 1. So because Washington swept Quebec, if the Wild Things can win today and Quebec loses, the Wild Things will claim the regular season crown as the best team here in the Frontier League in the regular season. But if Washington loses or Quebec wins, Quebec is the team that will claim top team in the league here in the regular season. 1-1 to Luke Harper. In there for a called strike 2 now. Gotta watch out for that New York team heading into the playoffs. They have won 12 straight games. Boulders are going to host Ottawa Tuesday night, and the winner of that will host Quebec for a couple games before heading north of the border. Should be exciting. Ball fouled back into the netting. Keeps our count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. One out, nobody on here in the home half of the third. Otters lead 5-1. 1-2 pitch home. Stays outside for ball 2. Counts evened up, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Spring ready to go on the 2-2. Sends it that way. Just misses low, ball 3, and we'll have a full count. Otters remained in their primary blue tops with the gray bottoms. As for the Yalls, they swapped over to their powder blue tops for this game too. 3-2 payoff pitch for Harper. Fouled back into the netting, and the at-bat will extend once more. Three balls, 2 strikes. Ball fouled back into the netting again. Great work from Harper to keep himself alive in the count. Pitch stays inside, and Harper's going to grab himself a walk. So Alberti Chavez will head to the plate with one man on and one man out. But first, there'll be a quick meeting at the mound between Justin Felix and his pitcher, Tyler Spring. Chavez on the day with a fly out back in the first inning. Good lead at first for Luke Harper, all the way to the cutout. First pitch home, in there for a called strike one. Another big lead over at first. This one sent zooming foul to the right side, going to end up in the parking lot out there. And with it, count falls to 0-2 now for the shortstop Chavez. Another good lead for Harper at first. They're going to go check on him. He's back in time, though. Tyler Spring getting set for the 0-2 pitch to Chavez. 0-2 home. There goes the runner towards second. This ball's driven out towards center. McNamee's going to track it down and bring it in for out number 2. So with 2 outs and a man at first, Brennan Price heads to the plate. Price walked his opening time in this game. Advanced to second on a wild pitch, but was stranded there. First pitch home, a half swing. They say no, he did not go around. So it's just ball one. Spring getting set for the 1-0 offering to Brendan Price. One man on first, 2 men out in the inning. That does find the zone. With it, our count evens up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big shift to the right side. Rosario playing almost in the left center field gap. They throw over again to check on Luke Harper, who's back in time. One ball, 1 strike for Brendan Price. There's a man at second and 2 outs. Sorry, man at first, 2 outs. 1-1. This one's driven high and foul to the left side. Ball crushed by Brendan Price, but in the wrong direction. Pitch comes out of your hand just a little bit wrong, and Brendan Price absolutely can make you pay for it. 1-2 home. Man goes off towards second. The throw looks good, but it gets out of the glove of Khalil. Now the man's going to try to advance for an extra run. Throw out to third's good, and Craig tags him out on his way. Harper tried to get greedy and grab an extra base, but he's caught advancing, and the inning will end. We are on our way to the 4th inning. Evansville leads 5-1. Top of the fourth inning, Evansville will send the 9-1-2 to the plate. George Khalil, Brian Rosario, and Elijah McNamee due up. First pitch home, high outside, ball one. George Khalil 1 for 1 on the day with an RBI double back in the second inning. Now a ball low and outside. Takes the count to 2-0. Sent sharply to the right side, through for another base hit. And Khalil continues what has been a solid series for him. Struggled in our first game of the day, 0 for 3, but in the other occurrences, he's 5 for 6. So that'll bring the leadoff man, Edward Jones, leadoff hitter of the game, Brian Rosario, to the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a double and a fielder's choice groundout. First pitch home. Stays on the outside edge for a called strike one. By the way, we did have a pitching change as we approach this fourth inning as well. Andrew Dietz gets the nod out of the right field pen. This call to the bullpen presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. 1-0 to Rosario's outside for ball two. So that means it's Dietz on the mound, Harper behind the plate. The pitcher catcher battery sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Another ball outside. Takes the count to 3 balls, no strikes now for Brian Rosario. Sorry, 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike to Rosario. Low inside. Now it's 3-1. Khalil has himself a good lead over there at first. Johnson trying to keep him close. 3-1. Catches the outside edge for a called strike two. Good lead for Khalil over at first. The 3-2 sent weakly to the left side. Picked up by Chavez to second for 1. It gets away. Works all the way out towards right. Khalil was still trying to get up, so he was not able to extend it for an extra base. But Rosario's going to reach on the air. So there's now men at first and second for Evansville with Elijah McNamee heading to the plate, trying to extend Evansville's lead in this one. Men at first and second, nobody out. First pitch home to McNamee, taken low and away for ball one. Well, we've been able to make it through the entirety today so far without rain. Looking like we should make it the rest of the way. Does look like after, though, within the next couple of hours, it should start to continue in the area, but we should be done by then. Ball zoomed down the left field line is just foul. McNamee got himself a good piece of contact hitting there, but it was just a bit foul. One sent foul to the right side. It's going to get out of play, however, end up on the over concourse over there. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Elijah McNamee trying to help bring some Otters around. The 1-2. That stays low. Two offering for McNamee. He pushes one out towards right. Tenney running in. He brings it in for out number 1. The Otters will not be able to bring one up. They throw over to first, but because of that, Khalil's going to grab an extra base. So Tenney decided to throw to first and try to grab Rosario. Because of that, George Khalil makes him pay for it. Good heads-up base running from Khalil there, as there's now base runners on the corners with one out. Zach Bierman heading to the plate. Pitch comes home. Rosario taking off towards second. The throw looks good. It's in time. And they catch Rosario stealing. One ball, no strikes. Pitch comes home for Bierman. High outside. Make it ball 2. The 2-0. Catches the zone for a called strike on the outside. Late call there from our home plate umpire, Roberto Pattison. (2-0). This one sent out towards shallow left. Charging in is Zuber. They'll bring it in for out number 3. Evansville grabs themselves a couple of base runners, but cannot bring him home in the 4th. We head to the home half of the 4th inning. Evansville leads by 4. Bottom of the 4th inning here on the Otters Digital Network. Evansville leads 5-1. And because of the caught advancing in that last half inning, Brennan Price remains there on or at the plate. His first pitch of this at-bat inside ball 1. The 1-0 comes home. Outside, and it's a 2-0 count now. 2 balls, no strikes for Price. He'll call time and reset. A 2-0 offering for Brendan Price. Hit sharply right back up the middle. Khalil makes a good run towards it. Into the glove. The throw to first. My goodness. Add another one to George Khalil's endless defensive highlights this year. Another unbelievable play from him out there at shorts. And that will now bring up the left fielder, Ray Zuberer. One out, nobody on. Zuberer heading to the plate. Spring fires home. Good enough for a called strike one to kick off this at bat. Oh, 1 for Ray Zuberer. Spring sends it home. Swinging strike 2 as it was foul tipped into the glove of Felix. Spring getting set for the 0-2. Pitch comes home. Well inside, and the count's now at 1 ball, 2 strikes. All things considered, this game doesn't mean anything for either squad outside of another notch in the win column. Otters know they've got a game Tuesday night. They know where they're playing it. And a foul tip strike 3 will sit down Ray Zuber with a German-American Bank strikeout, the 3rd of the day for Spring. That brings up Ethan Stern. He popped out to Armstrong at second his first time up. Ready for the first pitch to Stern. Spring fires home. Misses for ball 1 on the high inside edge. One 0 the offering for Tyler Spring. This one's cranked right at Khalil at shorts, and he'll bring it in for out number 3. We are on our way to the 5th inning. Evansville leads this one 5-1. Otters lead 5-1 as we head to the top of the fifth, and we've got a new pitcher in for this Florence squad. Edgar Martinez gets the nod out of the right field bullpen. This call to the bullpen presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Jeffrey Baez, Justin Felix, and Brody Tanksley due up. And Jeffrey Baez, for the first time this year, is going to take an at-bat as a lefty hitter. Ball is grounded to the right side. Nobody on, nobody out, kicking off this fifth inning. And the left-handed hitting Jeffrey Baez watches a pitch come home for strike two. He's back in the count 1-2. 1-2 home. Sent foul to the left side. Also due up in the inning, Justin Felix, Brody Tanksley. The 1-2. Baez grounds one to the right side. It's into the glove of Johnston, and he'll stand on first himself for out number one. So that'll bring up the catcher, Justin Felix. His last time up, launched a ball to dead center field, the deepest part of this ballpark, for a two-run home run, his second hit of the day. First pitch home to Felix, a swinging strike one. Oh, 1. Felix lets it go by. Called strike two on the high outside. Oh, 2 for the catcher, Felix. High inside, nearly got him in the helmet. He's able to get out of the way, though. One ball, 2 strikes. Low outside, good scoop from Harper. Evens our count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two-two, sent foul to the right side. And the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Defense in the standard areas prior to a 2-2. Zoomed out towards left. Zuber chasing back. It's at the wall. It is gone. A 2 home run day for Justin Felix. Zoomed one over the left field wall. And with that, the Otters have tied their single season record for home runs in a season at 99. It's the 11th for Felix. And Felix joins Bierman, Sinsley, Phillips, Gordon, and McNamee and Khalil in multi-home run games this year. Solo shot for Felix has put the Otters up 5 now. One-0 on the way for Tanksley. Foul tip strike evens our count at 1-1. One stays inside. Takes the count to 2 balls, 1 strike. 2-1. Finds the zone to even our count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball pushed foul to the right side, out of play again. The count remains 2-2 for Tanksley. Two-two. Tanksley pushes this one out towards right center. Tenney chasing over to it, and Tenney's got it for out number 2. So that'll bring up Andy Armstrong, the second baseman, with nobody on and 2 outs. Armstrong is 1 for 1 on the day, a double and a sacrifice fly RBI. His first pitch here misses inside for ball 1. Outside, and the count's at 2-0 now. The 1-0 misses low and outside, make it 3-0. A 3-0 home. That one's called a strike on the outside edge, and the count goes to 3 balls, 1 strike. The 3-1 grounded to the left side. And the count goes full now for Andy Armstrong. A 3-2 for Andy Armstrong. High inside will send Armstrong to first with a walk. Tanner Craig ready for his next chance. He zooms one out towards dead center. Almonte back towards the wall. Gone! Tanner Craig has his second home run of the year. This one to dead center field. And the Evansville Otters have set a new franchise high for home runs in a single season. Make it 100 on the year. And who else to set the record? Tanner Craig, the University of Evansville home run king, has his second of the year. That one's good for 2 runs, and the Otters lead by 7. That'll bring up George Khalil now. He's trying to find his second 3-hit game of the series. First pitch to him, finds the inside edge for a called strike 1. Oh, 1 home, fouled off to the right side, back behind home. Quickly 0-2 now. O2 gets away for a second. Takes the count to 1 ball, 2 strike. The 1-2 hit sharply to the left side. Going to be a tough play in the hot corner. Throw across to first isn't in time. And George Khalil has his second 3-hit game of his career and of this series on the infield single. What an inning this has been for Evansville. Second home run of the day for Felix. A home run for Tanner Craig that brought in 2. And now George Khalil grabbing his second 3-hit performance of his career and of the series. First pitch to Brian Rosario, swung on and missed for strike 1. One ball, one strike for Rosario. That one's foul tipped backwards. One ball, 2 strikes for Brian Rosario. Low and outside, count evens up. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. The 2-2 pushed off towards the left side down the line. It's going to be fair. Khalil's going to round second, and there will be a close play at second. Rosario's going to get in there in time on a stand-up double after he tripped up going around first. And there's runners at second and third now for Evansville. That's going to cause a discussion up there on the mound for Florence. As Evansville has really put the foot on the gas here in this inning. Still chatting up there on the mound. Edgar Martinez, his catcher Harper, and their pitching coach. Conversation has concluded, and we're ready to continue this fifth. An explosive game of offense for Evansville. If only they could have found some of this earlier today. First pitch to McNamee, right back up the middle. It'll bring a run home. Rosario's rounding third. We'll have a play towards home. No, we won't. A 2-run single for Elijah McNamee has bumped the Otters up 2 more. The perfect amount of offense for Evansville to hopefully carry into the postseason. And they now lead 10-1. Huge offensive performance. And Bierman will be the 9th hitter for the Otters in the inning. They've batted around. Throw over to first. McNamee's back in time. Oh, 2 for Bierman. That bounces away from the catcher Harper, and McNamee will get himself a free base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This one sent out towards right center. Tenney running back towards the wall, and it bounces into the wall. Bierman's going to be in there with a stand-up double that scores another run. And the inning continues for the Otters. They've scored 6 here in the frame. And that'll bring Jeffrey Baez to the plate for the second time in the inning. And for the second time in the inning, he will bat as a lefty. That was the 7th double of the game for Evansville, and with that, they've tied their record for this year of doubles in a game. Alongside the 3 home runs, that's 10 extra base hits for the Otters, the most they've had in a game this season, and this is only a 7-inning ball game. 1-0. Baez swinging strike, evens him at 1-1. Baez batting as a lefty for the second time in the inning. Takes a pitch for a called strike 2, and he's back in the count 1-2. A swinging strike 3. The inning finally comes to an end, but not before the Otters score 6 and get themselves a 10-1 lead now here from Florence. We are on our way to the bottom of the 5th inning here on the Otters Digital Network. Home half of the 5th inning here from Thomas More Stadium in Florence, Kentucky. Evansville now leads by 10 after an incredible inning of offense. Just about everybody got involved. First pitch for Bryant Flette. High outside, ball 1. Spring ready to go on the 1-0 to Flette. Stays high, ball 2. Flette, Johnson, Almonte, the 3 due up here in the home half of the 5th. The 1-0. Catches the inside edge and takes our count to 2 balls, 1 strike. Two one the count for Flete. Spring fires home. Misses to the inside, and it takes our count to 3 balls, 1 strike now. Three balls, 1 strike. Pitch comes home to Flete. Swinging strike 2. We've got a full count. If the Otters do hang on to win this one, which at least right now, hopefully they should, they would even the season series at 6 games apiece between these two squads. Whole bunch of games between these two teams this year. 3-2 home. Fouled back into the netting. We remain at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Three balls, 2 strikes. This one's cranked out towards right. It's very high, but very foul. You can add that to the list of very hard-hit baseballs today that have ended up doing absolutely nothing for the scoreboard other than a notch in the strike category. Three balls, 2 strikes. Ball again fouled back into the netting. Three and 2 the count. Long wait for Spring up there. The full count, home. They say no, he did not go around. And Flete will reach on a hard-earned walk, 9-pitch at bat. And we might see a discussion up on the mound now. Axel Johnson heads to the plate. One man on, nobody out. First pitch to Johnson, fouled back into the netting. Drops the count to 0-1. Flete at first, nobody out. Spring ready to fire home. It's on the way. Fouled back into the netting again, make it 0-2. Otters exploded for offense there in the top half of the 5th inning. It all kicked off with Baez grounding out, batting as a lefty, even though he is a righty. Felix backed it up with a solo home run, his 2nd homer of the day. Following a fly out for Tanksley, the Otters did the rest with 2 outs. A walk for Armstrong, 2-run home run for Tanner Craig. A couple of base hits for Khalil and Rosario. McNamee brought them both home with a 2-run single. And then Zach Bierman brought home McNamee with an RBI double, giving Evansville 6 runs in that inning and an 11-1 lead, 13-1 lead in the hit category. One ball, 2 strikes home from Tyler Spring. This one is sent very high towards shallow center. Chasing in is McNamee. He'll bring it in for out number 1. So with 1 out and a man on first, Wadi Almonte will head to the plate. First offering home to Almonte. Taken for a called strike, high outside corner. Long game for Tyler Spring. He's clocked over 70 pitches now. 75 comes home here, and it's fouled away for strike 2. And despite the long day for Spring, he's been exceptional on the mound. Gave up a single to start off the game. Luke Harper did come around to score on the sac fly RBI, but ever since that leadoff single to start this game, Tyler Spring has not given up a hit. There's been a couple of walks here and there, but his defense has certainly helped him out. 0-2 to Almonte. High, ball 1. A wait before the 1-2. Finally, the pitch on the way. Sent out towards left. Chasing after it's Rosario. He'll run out of real estate, though, as it'll land on the berm up there. And grabbing a souvenir baseball out there on the left field berm is one of Andy McCauley's children. One ball, 2 strikes. Pitch comes home. Fouled into the netting again. These Y'alls hitters really making Tyler Spring work hard in this inning. One, 2 the count. Pitch on the way. Sent grounding up the middle. Armstrong chases in towards it. The backhand to second. The throw to first will not be in time, though. The Otters just get the 1. 4-6, the fielder's choice. Flete out on his way to second. Almonte will reach first. Rodney Tinney heading to the plate with a man on first and 2 outs. Ball comes home. It's fouled up behind home. It's going to get out of play, though. Back towards the seating area and will actually hit the roof. One man on, 2 men out in the half inning. Oh, 1 home. High outside, and the count evens. 1 ball, 1 strike now. One ball, 1 strike. Stays high. The count goes to 2-1. Two and 1 the count for Tinney. Fouls it back into the netting, and the count evens. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Evansville trying to wrap up the 2022 regular season with a win here at Florence. And, you know, outside of these couple of weeks, in those first 2 series, Florence really had the number of the Otters. So Evansville obviously wanted to grab a couple of solid wins here to end the year. Grabbed one Friday night, clinched their postseason spot, and now they're going to end the regular season with a win regarding, or unless there's a big comeback here. Ball put off foul to the left side. We know the time and place of Tuesday night's wild card. It'll be at Schaumburg, 6:30 Central Time, first pitch. You can catch the game here on the Otters Digital Network. As the Otters try to continue their 2022 season. 2-2 to Tenney. Stays high and in. We've got a full count now. Three balls, two strikes for Tenney. The 3-2, beautiful jump out there, but the count continues at 3-2 after the foul off. Three balls, two strikes for Tenney. The 3-2 again. High outside, ball four. There's men at first and second now. Brings up Luke Harper. He's 1 for 1, a single and a walk so far today. Been active on the base path. Scored on the first opportunity after a wild pitch, and then in the third, advanced on a stolen base, but got caught trying to grab an extra base going to third. He starts off with a called strike on the inside. Long wait prior to the 0-1. It's off the handle of the bat, off towards center. Good drop in, but Rosario is able to make a long run in, bring it in for out number 3, and we are on the way to the 6th inning. Evansville still leading this one here from Florence. On to the top half of the 6th inning. Evansville is holding on to an 11-1 lead right now. Justin Felix, who has already hit 2 home runs in this game, makes his way to the plate now. Also, Darian Williams enters the game for Florence. This call to the bullpen presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. It's been good to see Felix really come alive in this game. Ball fouled off to the right side. Two and one. It's a swinging strike that evens our count up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball comes in for ball 3, and it's a full count now for Felix. Next step for Evansville will be Schaumburg Tuesday night. A called strike 3 will sit down Justin Felix, the first time he's recorded an out today. Ball is swung on and missed for strike 1 for Tanksley. Oh, 1 count for Brody Tanksley. That misses for ball 1, and we're even up at 1-1. Ball comes in and finds the zone for a called strike 2 and drops back Brody Tanksley to a 1-2 count. Ball zoomed to the left side into the glove of Flete at third. He'll throw across the first in time for out number 2. Still Evansville by 10. Andy Armstrong heading to the plate with 2 outs, nobody on here in the 6th inning. Evansville has not had a 3-up, 3-down inning yet today. Ball weakly sent to the right side, played into the glove of Johnson. His throw to first will be in time, and Florence is able to grab a 3-up, 3-down inning for the first time today. We're on to the bottom of the 6th. Evansville leads by 10. Home half of the 6th inning. Otters are going to make a pitching change. Augie Gallardo gets the nod out of the left field pin. This call to the bullpen presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. It's Gallardo on the mound, Felix behind the plate, the pitcher-catcher battery, sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. On the day, Tyler Spring grabs himself a solid performance, gives up 1 run on 1 hit in 5 full innings. He walked 4, struck out 3. A solid outing for it. A little bit of a wait here as Spring gets set. First offering home to Chavez. High inside. Chavez able to get underneath that one. It's ball 1. Gallardo last appeared in the final game against Florence last week on Sunday. Gave up no runs on 1 hit in his 1 full inning. 1-0 home from Gallardo. This one's cranked out towards center. McNamee will chase back a few steps and bring it in for out number 1. So that'll now bring up the hard-hitting DH, Brendan Price. He's 0 for 1. Otters trying to close out the regular season with a win. Ball sent sharply down the left field line. It's going to fall for extra bases. Off the wall. Price trying to work his way to second. The throw out there is a little offline. And because of it, Price has himself a 1-out double. So a solid start from Tyler Spring today. Just helped everything out. Ray Zuber at the plate, 1 out, 1 man on. Augie Gallardo trying to see the Otters out of this inning. Ball sent sharply foul to the right side, bouncing foul. And Zuber falls back to an 0-1 count after the foul ball to the right. Price stands at second. Zuber waiting at the plate for the 0-1. Oh, 1 home. This one sent foul to the left side. Will get out of play. And with it, the count drops to 0-2 now. Evansville up by 10. Trying to close out 2022, at least the regular season, with a win. Gallardo really taking his time prior to the 0-2 pitch, and because of it, Zuber is going to call time. Oh, 2 for Zuber on the way home. Called, strike 3. And that is the first German-American Bank strike out of the game for Gallardo. So Ethan Stern heads to the plate, 2 outs and a man at second. In there for a called strike. 0-1 the official count for Stern after the swinging strike. Gallardo fires home, finds the zone near the knees for a called strike 2. Oh, 2 for Ethan Stern. Gallardo fires home. A half swing, did he go? Yes, he did, says our first base umpire. That is good for another German American Bank strikeout. And we are on our way to the 7th inning. Evansville leads by 10. And we make our way to the final inning of the 2022 regular season. Evansville up by 10. Tanner Craig, George Khalil, and Brian Rosario are the 3 due up for Evansville here in the top half of the 7th. Tanner Craig, 1 for 3 on the day, had a 2-run home run to dead center field as a part of that big 5th inning for Evansville. It was good for the 100th home run of the Otters season, which sets a new single season record for the Otters. Count goes to 0-1 for Tanner Craig. Craig watches one cross on the outside edge for a called strike 2, and he drops back to an 0-2 offering now. Tanner Craig waiting on the 0-2. Nobody on, nobody out, kicking off the 7th inning. Called strike 3, and Tanner Craig will watch one go by for a called strike. By the way, Carl Craigie enters the game in the half inning for Florence on the mound. Call to the bullpen presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. 1 out, nobody on, and making his way to the plate is George Khalil. 3 for 3, his second 3-hit performance of the weekend and the second of his career. Starts off with a swinging strike 1. not often that your entire team gets to bat 4 times in a 7-inning contest, but the Otters have been able to work themselves around a couple of strong innings and get the at-bats in here in the final regular season game. All of this just tune-up for Tuesday. Oh, 2 for Carl Craigie on George Khalil. 0-2 swung on and missed. A late swing from Khalil, and it's back-to-back German American Bank strikeouts. And that's just been really aggressive pitching there from Craigie. Not afraid to attack the zone, making these Otter hitters kind of be behind, and that's led to a couple of strong outs to kick things off. So the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Brian Rosario, strides in. He's got 2 doubles on the day. First pitch home. Stays inside, ball 1. 2 for 4 officially for Rosario. Has the 2 doubles. Also reached on an error. And then grounded into a fielder's choice also. 1-0 comes home. Finds the zone for a called strike. And the count evens. Again, if you've got plans Tuesday night, either find a way around them or find a way to be with us Tuesday night as the Otters head to Schaumburg for a 1-game wild card series. The winner gets to host Washington Friday night in the Frontier League West Division Championship Series. So if the Otters can find a way to win at Wintrust on Tuesday night, we'll need you at Bosse Field Friday night for game 1 of that 3-game set. 2-1 home to Rosario. Stays low and inside. Advances the count to 3-1. Do have some scores starting to come in around the Frontier League as all the late games are getting into full swing. The Grays of Empire State up 4-3 at Tri-City. Ottawa with a big 7-0 lead at Quebec. They're trying to tune up for their Tuesday night game as well. The Washington Wild Things up 1-0 against Windy City. 3-1 hit sharply to the left side into the glove of Flete. Over to first. Going to be close, but in time for out number 3. And we're on our way to the last half inning of the regular season. Don't go anywhere. It comes at you next. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Kevin Davis in to pitch for the Otters. Call to the bullpen presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Aggressive pitch from Davis stays outside for ball 1 on Bryant Flete. Now the 1-0 swung on and missed, and the count evens. It is Davis on the mound, Felix behind the plate. The pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. 1-1 home. Foul tip back into the netting. Wakely takes the count to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Davis last appeared in Game 1 of our series that took place Friday night. He allowed 1 hit in the 1 inning he pitched, but all 3 outs he acquired were strikeouts. He's averaging over 2 strikeouts an inning now. 1-2 home. Sent out towards center. Going to be a long run for McNamee. He can't get there in time. Good barrel there from Bryant Flete. And it's a leadoff single here in the 7th. Otters trying to close out this regular season with a win. And all eyes focus on Tuesday night. First pitch home is fouled off the handle for strike 1 by Axel Johnson. Oh, 1 sent foul down the left field line, and it's going to stay foul. Oh, 2 for Axel Johnson. Man at first. Nobody outs. Oh, 2 sent popping up towards the left side. Craig thinks he's underneath it, and he's able to make a catch for out number 1 here in the 7th. First pitch to Almonte, low, inside, ball 1. 1-0. Finds the zone, and the count's evened up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, a huge thank you from everyone here in the Evansville Otters organization for tuning in all regular season. Ball fouled off, takes the count to 1-2. Whether you showed up at Bosse for home games or joined us here on the Otters Digital Network for road games, we're just glad that you were part of the Otters family in 2022. It is not done yet. Otters head to Schaumburg Tuesday night for a 1-game playoff. We hope you join us, whether or not in person. If not there, then here on the Otters Digital Network. 1-2 to Almonte. Low and inside evens our count up. Again, if the Otters can find themselves on the winning side of things Tuesday night at Schaumburg, they will then get to host Washington Friday night in the opening game of the Frontier League Divisional Series there at Bosse Field. 2-2 to Almonte. Inside again, takes our count full. Man at first is Flete after his leadoff single. 1 out, 1 on. 3-2 count to Wadi Almonte. This one's barreled towards left, but will work itself foul. And with it, the count remains 3 balls, 2 strikes. Three balls, 2 strikes for Almonte. Davis will try again. Again fouled off to that left side. These last 3 innings, Florence has been exceptional at, making the Otters pitchers have to work hard, making them go deep into counts and fouling a lot of pitches off, but it's just not turned out to what they needed on the scoreboard. 3-2 home. This one sent down the line, but will hook foul again. And it's still a 3-2 count. Fletse will slowly work his way back over to first. The 3-2 sent out towards left center, and McNamee will work over towards it. There's now runners at first and second after another single here in the 7th. So with 2 men on and 1 man out, Rodney Tinney heads to the plate. And this is kind of the way that Kevin Davis has pitched all year, whether it's coming in to help out with a couple guys on base or he's coming in for a fresh inning. He gets a couple of guys on base, and that's when he becomes really dangerous. It's almost like he needs the little bit of pressure and adversity behind him to really hit his stride. First pitch to Tinney. In the zone for a called strike 1, just above the knees. Otters defense playing halfway, hoping for a double play to end this game. Oh, 1 coming home. And first time is called. Tinney called time right as Davis was about to lift his knee. So we are still waiting on an 0-1. The 0-1 stays high for ball 1. Hard to believe it all kicked off back on May the 13th. We had almost 6,000 of you at Bosse Field to kick off the 2022 regular season. 95 games later, Evansville's headed to the playoffs. Called strike 2 takes it to a 1-2. It's one of those hard things to accept that you play the 95 games, you compete each and every night. Some rough road trips, some successful road trips, a franchise high 9-game winning streak, and it's all going to come down to a 1-game playoff on Tuesday night. A lot on the line against a very good Schaumburg team. 1-2 coming home to Rodney Tinney. This one's lifted down the left field line. Going to be a long run, and Rosario's going to run out of real estate. It ends up 3 rows high. And the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. Pitch comes home. Sent back into the netting foul, and we will remain at 1 ball, 2 strikes for Tinney. One ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 again. This one put in fair play. Rosario has to chase back, makes a catch on the run. He'll make a throw back towards second, but back in time will be Flete. So a fly out to left, and down to the last outs are the Florence Yalls. Their 2022 regular season coming to a close. One of the best teams in the league last year. Failed to make the postseason this season. They will be looking forward to 2023. First pitch to Luke Harper. Off the handle of the bat, sent out towards left. Khalil chasing back, Rosario chasing in, and the Otters are going to end 2022 with an 11-1 win here in Florence. And now it's all eyes on Tuesday night. Evansville heads to Schaumburg, where the entire season comes down to one night, one game. They'll need to win at Schaumburg to advance themselves to the divisional finals, which will take place against Washington. Evansville really played every part of this game well. The starting pitching was exceptional. The hitting was consistent throughout. So that fifth inning was huge for Evansville. A couple of home runs. End up passing their home run total, get 100 on the season with Tanner Craig's 2-run homer. There's so many good things about this game for Evansville because this type of win puts a lot of positive momentum behind this team, puts a lot of wind in the sails as now they look forward to the postseason. They're in a really good spot moving forward. This is where the Otters needed to be going into this week's games. You know, it has been a rough stretch for Evansville in these last few weeks. This series, not as much, but, you know, the tough road trip a couple of weeks ago, the tough trip at Washington earlier this week, they've had some up and downs in these last few weeks. So a win like this to round out the regular season, a great way to cap things off. The Otters finished the regular season 52-43, and they are and will be third place in the West Division to conclude the 2022 regular season. Again, one final time, Tuesday night, 6:30 Central, Wintrust Field in Schaumburg, Illinois, with a trip to the divisional series on the line. Otters are going to have to bring their best to beat a very good Schaumburg team. You can catch the pregame show here on the Otters Digital Network at 6:20. I'll have every single second of that game for you. Another huge thank you to your support throughout the entire regular season. The Odds are not done yet. Tuesday night, 6:30. We'll catch you here on the Otters Digital Network. From all of us here at the Evansville Otters, I'm Matthew Will saying so long from Florence, Kentucky, and I'll talk to you Tuesday night as the postseason begins.